What is up, the internet? Bilbo here. Today I'm here to show you a tutorial on how to build an awesome spider farm. This is one I designed myself. It's very simple. It's an AFK spider farm, meaning that it is going to collect webs on its own for you. You don't have to sit around and play the game. If you leave it alone, it'll keep working for you. Or if you are playing and you just happen to be in the general area of your spider farm, it'll keep working for you. It's just going to keep collecting webs on its own. I'm standing on it right now. Usually you won't be inside it when it's working. You just kind of cover it all up and leave it alone. So to start with, you have to find a spider spawner in nature. You can find on the internet what is the easiest places to find these, but I can go ahead and tell you, usually it's going to be inside caves. They can come in two different types. They can be cave spiders or just spiders. These guys right here, the black ones, are just regular spiders. The cave spiders have a little bit of blue in them. It works the same way with either one of those. Then you're going to want to clear out a big area, and I'll show you how big the area has to be here in a second. All right, so first of all, there's going to be 3 blocks cleared out above it. All of this doesn't matter. This is just for me to peer in from up here, which is unnecessary. You don't need that. So it just needs to be 3 blocks cleared above it. So 1, 2, not that last one, doesn't matter. 3. 1, 2, 3. And then underneath it, same thing. You're going to have 3 blocks. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to leave that one in there because I like the lighting in here right now. That way the spiders don't start spawning. That's the other one. While you're working around it, if you're in survival, you're on easy, medium, or hard, and the spiders are going to be spawning, you're going to want to light it up as soon as you find it. That way they don't keep spawning while you're building. So the easiest way to do that is just throw a couple lights on it. You know, a couple torches work, or one of these glow stones. A jack-o'-lantern is pretty bright. And you're going to leave that there the entire time you're working. That way they don't keep spawning. See, if actually I won't show you because I don't want to fight them right now. So then you're going to build a platform, the 4th block underneath it. Like I said, there's 3 blocks underneath it. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're going to break these out. This is 15 blocks wide. It is a diagonal square. It is 15 blocks from that sand block over there to that sand block. Those sand blocks and those magma blocks are not going to be there. Those are just for the sake of displaying right now. That's for you guys. You see there's 15 from that sand to that sand over there. All right, and it's the same way going the other way. Like I said, it's a square. It goes from there to there. It's a diagonal square. So don't build it. It's not a square like this. See, it's not flat edges. It's a square. Let me clear this one back out. It's a square. It's a diagonal square. In Minecraft, that means that it's going to go like this. You're gonna, you know, each corner it's going diagonally, and then I would go that way and that way to show you. But okay, so that's the 2 edges of the square. So you're gonna fill all that in. I used half slabs. It doesn't matter what you use. You can use any material you want to, as long as it is a spawnable material. You won't want to build this out of glass or any other materials that mobs have a tendency to not spawn on, or anything as well that water can't pour on, because the next thing we're going to do here in a second, we're going to cover this in water. The water is what's going to move the spiders along for us. So I'm going to knock all these out of the way here, and we're going to place a water block. Now, I am on top of slabs. There's a new weird thing going on with, I don't know if it's just Pocket Edition or if it's just because of the new water update. I know the new water update changed a lot of the weird, the ways water worked. You can't place water directly on slabs anymore. If you do, it'll just start falling out of the bottom. It'll make a mess down here. It acts really weird, and you won't have any water up on top. So what you're going to do is, if you are using half slabs, place a block there, right next to the place I want to put the water on, and place it on the side of the block rather than on the floor. It's going to work exactly the same way. So then I'm going to punch that block out. Now the water's there. It's in the very center, directly underneath the spider. What's cool about the measurements that I gave you, 15 by 15 diagonal square, is that none of the water is going to spill over. It goes exactly to the edge, exactly to the corners, and then it stops on its own and doesn't spill over. And it reaches all of the corners and all of the edges. There's nowhere that it doesn't reach. So the next thing we're going to see down here is the floor. It's all made out of magma blocks. Magma blocks are not difficult to acquire. You can get them in the nether. You mine them. You just run around for a little while. You'll see tons and tons of magma blocks. I've got too many, more than I know what to do with as of right now. I just went on a little mining session recently. There's going to be, again, 3 blocks underneath here. I've got 3.5 because I used half slabs here. But if this was a full slab, which I'm not actually gonna do that because I'll have to break it afterward. But if this was a full, a full block, then it would only be 3 from here to here. You're gonna wrap the room in cacti with, let's see, how many blocks is that there in between them? You got 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't put 1. Watch what happens if you, this is something that's weird to know when you're working with cacti. If I place a block right there, all the cacti that it's touching directly break, which is one of the biggest reasons I built this room diagonally. Spiders can't crawl up cacti, but they can crawl up just about any other material in the game. They technically can crawl up cacti, but it damages them, so it'll knock them back down. So I wanted the walls to be made out of cactus so that it controls the spiders more easily. So they're just going to go ahead. I'm going to punch this out. You're going to see what happens. When you break that, see how they just started popping out of nowhere? I've got it lit up right now so you guys can see it. Usually want this room to be as dark as possible to get the highest spawn rates. As they fall down there, and let me watch them from the beginning. That guy just popped. The water is pushing him off the edge. Now he can't climb out because the cactus isn't going to let him, and the water's pushing him to the center. I'll show you how to build this area down here and give you the dimensions in a second. They're just going to bob around and bounce around in here and keep touching the magma blocks with their little toes as they're bouncing in the water. And when they touch the magma blocks at the bottom, it's going to burn them and cause them damage. At the very center, I have a hopper that's set up into a hopper line that brings all these webs to a chest. And that chest is it's just collecting all those webs for me. I'm getting thousands and thousands of them by the hour. It's really not that many. It's a few hundred per hour. It is a lot, though. It's an obnoxious amount. It's more than you're ever going to need of spider webs, unless you're building a huge, I don't know, like a wool pixel art or something, or a huge build out of wool because you like the color. But if that's the case, this is the perfect thing for you. You need a lot of wool for that. You need a lot of webs to build the wool. So I'm going to go ahead and deactivate it again so these spiders stay out of my way. And see how easy it is to deactivate. We just throw a light on top of it, or a bottom, just throw a light there. That way they can't spawn. Actually, I'm going to put it underneath to make sure they don't spawn on the platform directly. All right. So since this is 15 blocks wide, and the cacti are going to be 4 blocks away from the, let's confirm that one more time. 4 blocks, right? We're going to build it out of spruce. 1, 2, 3, and I'm not going to put that 4th one there because I don't want to break that cactus. But you can see that that's 4. There's 4 spaces between it, and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to do 4 out on each side of this platform here, and you're going to go all the way around the room with cacti. Underneath the cacti, you have to have sand to make them grow. The other thing you have to do behind the cacti, you have to dig out a hole in the wall. That way, again, if anything touches the cacti on the sides of it, it breaks the cacti. So you have to have an empty space all the way around, including directly behind this one. You don't have to have the edge of it dug out like I do. It just has to be this line right here behind it has to be dug out. That way, no blocks are touching the cacti. You're going to go all the way around the room with the cacti. And cacti is plural for cactus, for those of you that don't know. The cacti are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks high. You can most likely get away with 5. I went with 6 just to be safe. Cacti are very easy to farm. You can grow them up as many as you want. You never have to replant, reseed, or anything. You just go punch them off at the middle, collect everything above it, and move on to the next one. You can farm them very easily. So collecting this much cacti is not hard. Placing them is the hardest part. So you're going to go 6 high here. And underneath all of that, so you can see the sand underneath the cactus there. In between all the sand, you're going to fill the whole room in with magma blocks. In the center here, you're going to have a little drop-off that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 including the hopper. 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks wide, and it's the same diagonal square. So you've got 9 across there as well. And then just fill it in diagonally. You fill that hole in. It's only 1 block deep. You fill that in with magma blocks as well. The reason you do that is so that this water here, these source blocks, are all going to pour over here. Magma works a little bit weird with water, which is why I have this weird dug out area, and the water looks like it's falling in from the walls instead of from the floor. On magma blocks, if I place a source block of water, eventually you see how all that water that's popping out in little holes? The magma block will eventually destroy the source block. The source block for the water will disappear. So a workaround for that is to place the source block 1 block above the magma blocks. So as you see here, this water is not on the bottom, it's not on the floor, it's hovering above the floor. It is 1 block above the floor, floating, it's coming out of the cactus. So I placed it like that, you know, up against, I think I just put water behind it. Oh well, that's fine, the water can stay there, it lives there now. No it doesn't, that's bothering me. And there is that gone. As you put this it destroyed. Oh well, I'm gonna fix that later. You guys don't need to see me do that. It's gonna take too long. So we'll just leave that alone for now. But anyway, the source blocks won't be destroyed by the magma blocks if it is the second block up off the ground. So then as it moves towards the center here, as it pours over towards the center, it would stop moving right around here at the edges if you didn't have another little indentation in the ground. That's why I have a hole in the ground so the water keeps pouring. It's going to take them all the way to the very center without ever breaking, without ever having to put source blocks in the center of the room, without ever having to touch magma blocks with source blocks of water. So it's pretty simple. You see how it works now. All of the water in the entire room is constantly moving to the center. And spiders are wide enough. The only water that isn't moving towards the center is the source blocks. It just sits still. But spiders are 1.5 or 2 blocks wide. I believe they're 2 blocks wide. So even if they sit in the source block, half of them is sitting off in the water that's moving. So they're going to get pushed off anyway. They're all going to, you know, hop along in the magma until they die. So let's go ahead and break this lighting out now. We're going to go up to the top. We're going to break this lighting out. And you're going to see, as the spiders spawn, they're just going to, we already displayed it earlier. I just want to show you one more time. And I'll show you guys what I did with the hopper line here in a minute. It's all laggy a little bit right now. Pocket Edition does some weird things when you're recording. It gets really laggy a lot of the time. So they're just bouncing along until they die. Their spiderwebs collecting the hopper. Now let me show you what the hopper is like. Let me get to the other side of it really quick. Where's my entrance? Here he is. All right. So I have a hole in the floor over here. You can have the entrance to it however you want. I have a hole in the floor because this is a big build of mine here. I didn't want this spider farm to interfere with it. So we're gonna dig down into the ground here. This is the chest that they're all being led into. But let me show you how that works. If you break this in the wall here and move along, I love gravel, by the way. I really don't. Gravel's probably my least favorite block in the entire game. It leads all the way, and I have it lit up so nothing spawns down here, but they probably won't anyway because it's only 1 high underneath the hoppers. I really just left that area so that I could light it up. It's so anyway, come all the way over here, and I'll fill this all in myself later. You guys don't need to see me do all that work. You can see now we are underneath the magma. We're not going to interfere with anything by breaking anything down here because the magma is above us. The water's not going to pour in. The very center is this one right here. This one is not the one that you see. The one above it is. There's a hopper directly above that one that's leading straight down into this one. And the way that you place hoppers so that they're facing the right way, I'm going to show you that really quick for those of you who don't know. Let's see. I'm just going to search hopper. And give me just a second. Hopper. This is Pocket Edition, guys. This if this works a little bit different than the PC that you usually play, or if you play console, I love you guys both. Everybody deserves love. This may work a little bit differently, but this right here, you're gonna crouch down when you want to see how I'm standing. Now I'm crouching. If I just click on this right here when I'm not crouching, I'm standing currently, I just open it up and go through its inventory. I don't want to do that. I want to place this hopper facing this hopper so that each one is pointing the right direction. You're going to crouch down and click where you want it to face. Now this one's facing into this one's facing into this one, and they just keep pointing along down the line until they face into the last one is going to face into the chest here. So now anytime a spider dies, the items are dropped, they're picked up. These eyes right here, this farm didn't pick them up for me. These are ones that I killed while I was working on it. So I'll eventually pick those up. These are all just things I dropped in the process. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire thing. I can't think of anything else I would need to explain to you guys. Let's see. It's going to collect the webs automatically, and that's it. It's a super simple farm. I love this thing to death. I designed it myself. Again, you guys helped me come up with a name for it. The reason, I'll explain really quick, that I prefer this one to most other farms is, another thing that you can do up here, I meant to put light here, not that. Another thing that you can do up here, I don't think it's 100% necessary. It'll slow the rates down a little bit if you don't, but not by much. Another thing you can do is you can place a sand block. I don't have it in my inventory anymore, so I won't display it. But you can place a sand block right here on top of this, and then put cacti on top of it. And the reason you would do that is that the spiders will sometimes spawn directly on top of it, as you saw when I flew in here. And they'll just sit there. So they're not going to die for a while. They're just going to hang out on top of here for as long as they feel like doing. And they're never going to fall down and take any damage. If you put a sand block on top of this and you plant some cacti on top of it, or even better yet, actually, I don't know if they can climb on magma blocks, being honest. It might damage them to climb on it. It might not. I'm not 100% sure. But cacti are the only ones I know for a fact they can't climb on. So if you place the cacti on top of that, they won't be able to climb. They may be able to climb on that one single sand block, but they'll fall off as they climb up, because they always naturally climb up. They'll climb up and they'll touch the cacti. They'll get knocked off. They'll fall down in the water, and you'll be good to go. I didn't do it for aesthetic reasons. I like it floating there but on its own. Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry. Let's go back to what I started saying just a minute ago. The reason that I prefer my design to most designs is that most designs for for spider farms require some amount of redstone, and a lot of the time redstone clocks. You have some that crush the spiders for you. It also depends, a lot of them just depend on you getting lucky and the spiders not climbing the walls too much. Or another thing is that some of them work on PC, and for some reason the spiders act a little bit differently in Pocket Edition than they do in PC. Another thing that I have a problem with in one of my favorite spider farm other than this one, it requires you to stand in a certain location, and that coaxes the spiders to attack you, and as they attack you, they fall into a giant hole in the ground. But that requires you to stand in the same place the entire time. I wanted one that would work the entire time I was in my base. This huge base out here, anytime I'm in this general area back here, which I will be a lot, there's going to be a lot of other builds back here eventually, it'll constantly be working. I won't have to be standing in the same place AFKing every time. There's a lot of reasons this one is great. It's not very resource intensive. Now, it is time intensive. It does take a good bit of time to clear this area out. However, if you're running low on resources and you find one pretty low in the ground, there's iron, gold, redstone, and stuff nearby, you're going to be collecting the resources you need anyway. Or if it's pretty early towards the beginning of the game, you're collecting cobblestone. You can get a lot of resources for mining large areas anyway. I find it therapeutic. I like mining out large areas. So as you can see, this is all underground, guys. Believe it or not, let me fly out and show you. This is all underground. I love mining. This took me a very long time. And I know I'm in creative right now. I don't play in creative, guys. I play in survival. This is a realm with about 10 other people on it. And we, as a rule, we never alter anything in survival. We always play. I'm sorry, we never alter anything in creative. We always just play on survival. Now, the little broken rule to that right now is that anytime I'm recording a video and I break something, or for the sake of displaying, I just want to throw a block down and then I want to break it later, like if I'm lighting something up, that's accepted. That's totally fine. The videoing, that's just for the sake of the YouTube videos. But other than that, we never alter anything in creative. So this was all done by hand. So I'm telling you guys, this is not hard to build in survival. It didn't take me very long. It probably took me about 3, maybe 4 hours. And the only reason it took me so long is there wasn't this nice little tutorial here showing you how to build it. It was all by hand. I had to, come up with all these numbers and map it all out myself and test around with the water and how to overcome the problem with the source blocks disappearing in the magma. And I did all this work for you guys. I found the one block that the spiders can't spawn on. I found the solution to all of your issues you didn't know you had. You're so welcome. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you have any questions or want to start a discussion about anything that we talked about in the video today, leave it in the comments section below. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. My name is Bilbo, and this is how I end videos.